Howdy, hey, hi, Spaceman Josh here, and welcome back to Factorio. So let's go ahead and go right where we left off. We were just about to start our steel production. And so if you remember, I have to manually stock the coal into these mines. So each of them has 25 in it. I believe there's just enough iron being made to create a good amount of steel. In order to make steel, it takes 5... It requires you to have 5 iron plates and makes 1 thing of steel. And the reason we're doing it is because a huge majority of the railway system has to be made using steel. If we actually go to that and look at the effects of what I unlock, 2 straight rails requires a steel plate and an iron stick. And so in order to make most rail systems a basic rail system, you're going to need not only enough steel for the rails themselves, but also a locomotive will need 20 engine units, which an engine unit in itself, if I remember correctly, that's what we're working on now. We can take a look right here. It takes the steel plate itself. So a locomotive in theory takes not only 30 steel plates, but 20 steel plates for the 20 engine units. So overall 50 steel plates just for the locomotive. And if you don't know, the locomotive is just the a part of the train that the driver sits in. And then there's also the cargo wagon, which itself also takes 20 steel plates if you want to transport cargo, which is the main point of having a train, having train systems, is to transport not only yourself but cargo vast distances to and from the map. And again, the straight rails, you know, causing steel, it's just the entire thing. If you don't have a decent amount of steel, you aren't going to be able to do it very fast. And so, getting started now, even way before we unlock railways themselves, will greatly help jumpstart our transport system. And I believe with the way that we produce, we're making just enough iron plates to allow for just enough steel production that both of these will almost always be on. Well, this one probably won't be on for as much because this one starts collecting a lot of them too. But this left one will definitely always be on. The right one will be on most of the time, so we have a decent production of steel. So I do have to keep an eye on that though in terms of how much coal they have left. We're about halfway through the engine. We got about 50 points out of the way, only 50 more. We can see how well our thing is going. Let's look at our engine. So we're at 13 out of 30 for each of those boilers. So I think while we wait, the next project will be to expand the power again, because we certainly have the coal for it. So first we'll need another boiler and then 2 steam engines. I'll make the steam engines first, just that way I know I can make those. How much does it take to make more steam engines? It's just purely steel. So I think what I can do is I can actually, after it makes these 2 steam engines and the next boiler, I can actually make 3 more steam engines to expand upon this. But what I want to do is I don't want to get in the way of the railroad. So I'll actually, to avoid the issue, I have an idea, but I don't know how well this is going to work. Because for a railroad, I plan on taking this conveyor belt to the left, getting rid of this, so this will be sort of the area it goes. And for this to work, it would essentially have the train system go from the coal. It would have to go down sooner, and then do another sharp turn down this way, in order for it to for that idea to truly work. Or I have to have it at an angle and get my placements of what I want to use just right. I think though having the hard angle probably won't be that big of a deal. I just have to be careful how I do it. So that's probably how I'll go about it. So enough of keeping you confused. I'll go ahead and just build this, and then I'll start sort of explaining what I mean, on top of trying to make so these start. Place this down here and this one up here. So what I plan on doing is getting some pipe to ground. Essentially, it's like underground conveyor belts, but it's for pipes. And so I can take them farther enough to where I can just essentially take the water down this way, and then, or I guess it would be steam by this point, and then the steam would go through more steam engines up here, and then the rails can pass over where the underground pipes go. That way I can continue to expand my engines without having to worry about interrupting the railroad. So I'm going to go ahead and from here I'll actually build one single pipe because I'll have to expand it that way. I don't want to have more than 4 boilers though. Having the 4th one will probably be my final one, and this will be the final, so this can be the final expansion of the boiler coal system. It looks like I need 3 more, so I can make 2 more right now immediately. And the reason I can't make 1 more is because I accidentally double-clicked on the pipe. But it doesn't matter too much in the end. You'll see what I mean in a second, because this requires 5 iron plates and 10 pipes, so having that pipe just is a little bit faster in terms of making one of these. So I need to make another set of that. Have that ready to go. Start using that. I think I need to make take it this way. Grab that. I didn't need to make 2 of these, but I made them anyway. And then from here, I'll actually use this, put it in there like that. And where do I want to go from here? I'll need 3 of these, technically 4, so I'll just make 4 now. And then can I make more of these? I can make 1 more boiler too, so I'll do that. These are ready to be made, so I'll go ahead and I want to take these as far as I can just to make sure I have room for the railroad. There goes that. There's 1, 2, 3. I don't know where the 4th one is going to be quite yet, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I might be able to figure it out now, though. About here. Yep, 1 more. Right here. Yep, right there. Like that. So now I just need to get the resources to make 2 of the steam engines. I'll grab some stacks this time. There we go. Because if you see now that these are down to 7 instead of just 13. So I do want to expand a little bit more on these since I have the resources and the time. And there goes that. So now they're all down to 5. Yeah, these have steam in them. So, and then from here I can expand this way. If I want to though, I need to break these trees. Is it just me, or is just research just get stupid slow at some point? I think it might be just the speed at which these something might not be getting made. Oh. That's what happened. I ran out of copper on this area. That's why it stopped. So usually I remember it being faster. That's why I remember it being faster. I'll actually take 3 stacks just because I know that the system works. I don't have to worry about accidentally clogging it. So I'll place those 3 stacks. And now we can get this process going again. And so now I have to worry about, when I expand far enough, I'll have to worry about this, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. There's no point in worrying about it just yet. But, however, it is time for this episode's Nerd Alert. So I'll go ahead and stop the video here. And so I actually had to look these numbers up beforehand because I knew what the numbers were. I just didn't know the exact numbers. But so the numbers I'm talking about are, so you probably all heard of a light year, but something that might be a misconception is hearing the term year in that might seem as if it's a concept of time. It's actually not. A light year is a distance. It is the amount of distance that light travels in a year. And that is the sort of terms of distances of units we understand, not distances. But units we understand is a light year is the equivalent of 9.461 trillion kilometers, which is also 5.879 trillion miles. For those of you who don't really know what trillion is, it's essentially a million. So, rounded. If you round it, you get 9.5 million kilometers, or 5.9 million miles, is the amount of distance that light travels in a year. And so, with this episode's Nerd Alert out of the way, let's go ahead and get back into the game. So I think since these trees are out of the way, I'm not going to worry about putting more engines here yet. There's no point in it. These are at 6, these are less than half of what they were, so I'm okay with that. We got this production going again now that we know that the copper is going well. Oh, we also ran out of steel. Or not steel, iron. Interesting. It was a double whammy. Let's go ahead and fix this double whammy. I didn't even notice that we ran out of that one too. I should probably check our map and check our steel. How is our coal? 11. This one is a little bit more, so this one's constant, this one's not so constant, but 11 and 12, 15 and 13. So we still had a decent amount. How much is in here? 58. That's a good number right now. We have enough for 16 steel and a locomotive. So, okay. So we are doing decently well. We don't have to go put coal in that one just yet. I do worry about the amount of steel amount of iron we're producing in terms of the automation for Science Pack 2s. We may not. I may want to add another. What's the term? Another electric mine soon. So I think that's just what I'm going to do, just that way I can get the increase in production. Let's make that, since I have nothing else better to do. I built the engines, and they're the steam engines. They're going good now. We're working on the electric engines to be able to increase our production of transport, to do railways and stuff like that. So that's 106,000. We're about behind it. 118. What about diagonal? 128. Okay, those are nice numbers. I might be able to back these up if these ever run out. But I think we'll just I'll settle with 120,000. This is the closest I can get without interfering with the other one. Make 3 of these. I'm not sure how many I'm gonna need. I don't need a whole lot. I think I'll need I need to make one more than that, because I need 3. Excuse me. But now what this will do is it'll take them down this way, and there's not really a need for them to be up here because these two up here are being supplied by this mine, and so these ones will be mainly for these ones down here. I already have electrical poles, so I have no issue powering this. There we go. I'll also place this one here. I don't need anything on my hotbar right now. There's nothing I'm trying to make, really. and it is actually almost a little too difficult for the inserter to grab anything from this belt. So this one will be purely supplied by this mine. I could, if I wanted to, take these and then try to do sort of an underground mine system. That way this one could use them if need be. There's not a whole lot of point in that right now. There'll always be some sort of production nonetheless. And see, now I want to make a fast inserter because this is not going fast enough to capture everything that's being made. If you look at this, it's 319, 222, zoom in enough, 6, 10, 7, 11, 7, 11. Let's go ahead and go up this way. I'll just hold down the collect button while I run up this way. Collected 46, just so we can do a little bit of a resupply run up here. It's not too important, but it's still something that can be done nonetheless. These are getting reasonably low. I'll place this down here so I can take half of it from up here. Then take this one, place that one in it. Take this, place in half. And then take this and place it in here. There we go, now we have them resupplied. Yeah, see, they are making a little bit more than what they're making more iron plate than they can produce with steel, and so as a result of that, now it'll actually, something I can do. This thought just sort of came to me. I can make the rest of these, bring this one down, and I can take these 5 and have them loop around. Have them loop around like that, and if we do it right here over here, the conveyor will still be able to grab it, and we can increase the steel production because any excess that can't get grabbed can still go around and be grabbed by it. With a small amount of excess, it won't do much help, but it will still help. What are we at now? 89. That's actually a decent number. That's a lot better than what I was on my personal game when I started trying to build railways. So from here, I think what I'll do, since I'm waiting, these are all at 7. I think what I can do is, first off, I'll take yet another stack of metal and place it in here just to be safe, because I know this gets used a little bit faster. This is at 211, this is at 380. And so what I'll do is I'll actually start mining some of these trees over here to help make way for the railroad. And so it also just allows me to make sure I always have a good supply of wood. Like right now I have 332. Way more than probably I'll ever need for like the next, however many episodes I decide to do. That's probably enough for the rest of me recording videos for this game. But still, nonetheless, it's still good to have the pathway clear. It's one thing to be able to have enough room to place things down. I like taking it far down enough so I can also sort of just see what I'm placing down. Like, you can like place things down in this area but not be able to see it because the trees are sort of blocking the way without actually being in the way. But I always like to clear those out anyway so I can actually see what's going on top of why I'm building it. So I have plenty that's sort of clear now. I actually talked about going straight down, so I didn't really need, actually yeah, I did need it. So probably my words are jumbling a lot. But what I basically, that plan is to, like I said, have the train stop will be here. It'll go across like this. I'll probably turn down here. That way I make sure I have enough room. Either it'll go through these two iron poles or these two iron poles, go straight down and then turn. I think since of not remembering exactly how much room I need to turn perfectly, I will do it between these two poles. I'll explain more of it on the next episode because we are reaching the 20-minute mark. So I'm going to stop it here. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos or hear more nerd alerts, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you wish, go ahead and turn on notifications. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Spaceman Josh out.